Buddy, I'm the director. I'll say when we're...
Sorry, if you want to do the countdown, you want to do the...
Do you want to be the director, or do you want to be registered for dinner?
Just do the countdown.
Alright, buddy. You're nervous over there.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm freaking out. It's been a while.
Alright, buddy, you ready?
Fans miss me. I'm ready.
Alright, let's get started.
Does that mean we're filming?
Beep.
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I know you missed me, but welcome back to another episode of Register for Dinner. I'm your host, Sebastian Register, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're having a special meal. Today, we're making rib sandwiches, so stay tuned. So the very first thing you guys want to do is make the dry rub for your ribs. As you can see here, I have a nice little spread of spices that you can find at your local grocery store. But this is a very basic dry rub. You can put it honestly on anything: chicken, burgers, your ribs, brisket, what have you. So the very first step is we're going to take 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika and pour it into our bowl. Next, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of both garlic and onion powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Get all that in there. 2 teaspoons of salt. And this is optional, but I like my dry rub to be a little bit spicy, so I'm gonna do a little bit of cayenne. Not too much though, just a couple dashes. Perfect. And just give it a mix. All right, so we got the dry rub mix all mixed well together. It smells fantastic. And now what we're gonna do is rub our ribs. So a little trick that I learned just from watching honestly a lot of videos is some people do this and some people don't. I honestly think it's better, and that's putting a little bit of yellow mustard on the ribs. I think it just helps the seasoning stick better to the meat in general. So not too much, because you don't want to go overboard, but what I like to do is just do a little squirt. Get your hands, it's gonna be dirty for this one, and just massage it into the meat. Be sure to get both sides. And now I'm gonna wanna get my seasoning, and I'm gonna wanna put it all over the ribs. And be very generous with your seasoning. And just massage it again into the ribs, making sure to get it all into the nook and crannies. And this is really gonna penetrate the ribs as they slow cook for about 3 hours, and you're gonna get an amazing, amazing flavor. Get both sides, and use the rest of it. You honestly can't really go overboard with dry rub. Alright, as you can see, my ribs are wrapped in tin foil. I have my oven set to 300 degrees. I'm gonna go plop these bad boys in there for about 3 hours, alright? You want it low and slow. Alright, so the very next step is gonna be pretty crucial for your rib sandwiches. I love some caramelized onions. It just adds a little bit of sweetness to the smokiness of the ribs. So I just have some 3 relatively large yellow onions, some butter, and a stove. That's really it. It's gonna be low and slow and very simple. So just take your onions, cut them in half, and you're just gonna wanna slice them. All right, so we got the stove, we got our induction burner heated up to the right temperature. I got my onions sliced. Now it's time to start caramelizing them. So I'm gonna take a good knob of butter. I would say this is probably around 2 tablespoons. Get that into your pan. Have it start melting completely. It's a lot of butter. It's gonna take a second. And as it's starting to melt, start adding your onions. Now I have my stove or induction burner, whatever you want to call it, set to low because I really want to make sure that I don't burn the onions. The reason being is as you start to cook them, they release a lot of natural sugars, and that's going to be what caramelizes them and makes them really sweet. So low and slow is the key here. And yes, this is going to take a while, about 45 minutes to an hour till you really get them to the perfect caramelization. So as you can see, the onions are perfectly caramelized. Honestly, it took about 40-45 minutes to get to this perfect caramelization. So now what we're gonna do is just season with a little bit of salt and a little bit of freshly cracked black pepper. And then just turn off your stove and you're good to go. Let them sit and rest. So the time has finally come. The ribs are ready, but they need to rest for about 5 to 10 minutes or so you don't scorch your hands when you're pulling out all the bones. So in the meantime, what we're gonna do is we're gonna toast our bread. So what I have here is a lovely loaf of Chicago Italian style bread, and I'm gonna cut it in half. And what I like to do, because I hate it when I bite into a sandwich and I have all bread and no filling, is I want to pull out a little bit of this dough in the center so that when I put the ribs in there, I'm going to get a ton of meat in every bite. So just pull out a decent amount of the dough, not too crazy. Discard that. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of olive oil and drizzle a little bit on top. This will help it toast a little bit and get to that golden brown perfection that you're looking for. And then I have my oven set to broil, and I'm just gonna toast them up. Keep a close eye on them because they will burn really quickly, okay? So while the bread's toasting and my ribs are resting, I'm gonna go ahead and make the honey barbecue sauce. This is really easy, guys. Anyone can do this. Just get your favorite barbecue sauce. Mine happens to be Sonny's Barbecue Original. This is a Florida thing. And I'm gonna pour about anywhere from about a half a cup in here. And then you're gonna want about 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey. Perfect. And then just give it a good mix. So the ribs are pretty much cooled down now, so I'm gonna start pulling out the bones. They should come out pretty easy because they've been slow roasting for about 3 hours. And just be very gentle. You really don't want to break up the meat. So I went ahead and deboned my ribs, so this part is very crucial because now it's extremely tender and very delicate, so it will fall apart on you very easily. But what I'm gonna do now is just sauce it up and then throw it in the oven. So I have my honey barbecue sauce that I made, and I just have a basting brush, and this was just gonna help it get a perfect layer of barbecue sauce onto the ribs. All right, so my ribs have been basted in the barbecue sauce, so now I'm gonna pop them in the oven. I have the oven set to broil, and that's just gonna help the top caramelize a little bit. Oh, and I didn't say this, but you want to keep it broiled for about 5 or so minutes, but do keep a close eye on them so that you don't burn your ribs. The moment you guys have been waiting for, it's assembly time. My ribs are ready, my bread is toasted, and now it's time to put this bad boy together. So what I'm gonna do is just, again, very delicately transfer my ribs over to my toasted bread. Take my lovely caramelized onions that I have, lay them on top. I don't know about you, but I love onions, so I'm gonna get a little generous with it. And this is completely optional, guys, but I like a little color with anything that I cook, so I have just some chopped up parsley. Do a very light sprinkle. Put the lid on, and you're done. Just like that, a beautiful rib sandwich. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Once again, my name's Sebastian Regester, and this is Regester for Dinner. If you enjoyed today's video and can't wait for us to cook something else, make sure you smash that like button, comment below, and subscribe. But until next time, stay hungry, my friends.